Hey Aries, welcome to your June reading. So you probably heard the news that Saturn has just entered your sign. Spirit was talking to me about this being a time of self-determination, a time of purposeful inner restructuring. The first house is your house of self. It's all about me. And Aries is the sign of all about me. So you are getting pulled to think about how you want to show up as a more like mature version of yourself, as a leader in some arena of your life. If you're an Aries rising, of course, this will be all about that self inventory and firming up your sense of self and shifting. And Spirit is using the word refining. So it's like if something was kind of like, I've been doing it kind of willy-nilly or kind of half-step, this is going to be a time where you really feel either the pressure or the pull to do something, to show up in, again, a more mature and evolved way, a more weighty way. And I was shuffling the cards before we got together, as I am wont, and talking to Spirit, and they showed me the Six of Wands, you holding up your golden fleece, a card of victory. Six of Wands is very much a self-determined card. It's the card all about self. So we shuffled that back in for the record. So as we get into the reading for June, if it pops out again, it's because Spirit really wants to underline and bold that. And if you are, for example, an Aries sun or moon, or you have several planets in Aries that are not your sun or moon and it's not your rising sign, look to the house that Aries rules in your chart. Could be your house of family, could be your house of career. Wherever Aries rules your chart and whatever house that is where you are meant to do some, again, maturing, some real leadership, to be a bit more pioneering, okay? Okay, let's keep that in mind as the kind of astrological weather around the landscape, the layout, the world of your reading, the world of your month. These cards are jumping, so Spirit's ready to go. Let's get into it. For Aries people in the month of June, thank you, Spirit, for showing up for the joy, love, abundance, ease, peace, fulfillment. The authentic expression of all Aries people, sun, moon, rising, and dominant, first house, dominant people. Spirit, we would love your higher perspective of what is showing up for Aries people in the month of June. Any events from their recent past that pertain to the present and the unfolding future. And Spirit, what does the present look like? We want to get an idea of the trajectory of June. What is the lay of the land so that we can help Aries navigate it best? Where do they stand at present? And where is that leading to? And Spirit, we want to know your guidance for Aries people, your advice, how they can best navigate what is showing up. And Spirit, we want to know what is showing up to meet them. What kind of climate are they working with? Any people or situations? Want to know what is the energy around Aries in the month of June. Want to know a potential outcome so that they can steer toward or steer away as necessary, Spirit. What is a potential outcome of the month of June for Aries people? And finally, Spirit, what is the key? What does bringing awareness to unlock the possibilities of June? Bring the potential to shift things, again, in the direction of joy, love, abundance, ease, fulfillment, and true, authentic expression. All right, let's start with your persona card, how you are showing up this month, the characteristics that Spirit wants to highlight for your highest good. A Knight of Pentacles. You can see your cards right up here. Knight of Pentacles, weighty, right? Saturn enters Aries. Saturn is the prince of the material world, astrologically speaking. It's about what happens tangibly. What results can I create right here? Not what can I imagine, what action can I take based on my imagining. The Knights are in transition. They are neither where they have been, they are not where they're going to be yet. They are on their way. And the Knight of Pentacles is all about slow and steady wins the race. The tortoise in the end does beat the hare. And I really like to see this because that that really vibes with Saturn entering Aries. You don't have to go fast, actually. And Aries does want to go fast. Aries wants to get started right now. You know what I mean? The Knight of Pentacles is like a gardener. I plant something, and your spirit is like correcting me. They're like, sorry, there's a step before planting. I clear and prepare the ground, then I plant something, then I show up day after day after day after day to take out the weeds, to pour the water, to feed the nutrients, etc. I tend slow and steady to something that will ultimately bear great fruit. And really, I'll be able to enjoy, Spirit is saying, the fruits of my labor. Curious to see what the rest of these cards are. You can see them before I do. Isn't that funny? Time is a flat circle. I haven't turned them over yet. So Spirit is really drawing my eye also to, if you look at the background of the card, there are these, I don't even know what they're called. If anybody in the comments, let me know. But little bee houses that beekeepers build, right? These homemade, or I'll say man-made hives. So all of this honey is being produced in the background. The knight isn't looking at it or enjoying it yet. Spirit's like, there's more than one way to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So something really sweet is growing, is being cultivated even in the background that you may not know about yet. I just love to hear that, especially combined with having pulled the Six of Wands before we even got together. Okay, I'm going to start flipping over these cards. Honey, you say. Honey. Oh my goodness. You can't make this shit up, Aries. Right in the guidance position. Do you show up the way that you want to show up? Be the leader. Act the way that you want to act and be celebrated. And then in the key position, the Emperor, the Aries card. He's got, oh my goodness, he's got the world in his hands. He's got his lightning bolts ready to create some change. Okay, Knight of Pentacles, the only thing that you are in danger of is not being bold enough. So here comes Saturn in Aries, and here comes this video to say, no, truly. Sitting in the past, Nine of Cups, your wishes can come true. Nine of Cups, Spirit is telling me that there's a little bit of a need to bring some other people in. Nine of Cups is being very self-satisfied, having manifested some beautiful things and really sitting in and enjoying them, and that's a beautiful thing. And sitting in the present moment, Judgment. Spirit is saying it's kind of like waking up from a beautiful dream, and not in a negative way, okay? When we wake up from a beautiful dream, we have the opportunity to, again, bring that dream into reality. So they're saying we want you to think of it that way. The Judgment card sits in the present moment. The Judgment card is a wake-up call. It's the alarm going off that wakes you from the dream, and then you bring what you remember from that and try to create as much of that in your reality as you can. And Spirit is saying we're giving you the Knight of Pentacles because the thing that you want to do or have or create may take a little longer than you would like it to, and we don't want you to slow down or outright drop it just because it's not, for example, taking off overnight. Like they said with the gardener is not looking at the dirt like, where is it? Where's my green? Where's my green? Where's my green? The gardener, the Knight of Pentacles, knows if I do the work, the growth will happen. So I don't need to waste energy, time, mental bandwidth worrying about what's going to happen, what's going to happen, what's going to happen. So I feel like you are being awoken to a commitment that you want to make. Life, again, may come from the outside and force you to commit to something. I'm going to give you the example that Spirit is showing me. Reminder, Aries, here that these are general readings, so not everything that I say will vibe with every single Aries, but there will be a metaphorical, intuitive through line. So even if the exact scenario doesn't fit you, where do you rhyme or resonate with this feeling? So Spirit is saying, for some of you, this will be something like, oh, I'm becoming aware that the time is approaching where I will need to like take care of my parents or take care of this family member or etc. Like kind of the looming, like on the horizon, there is more responsibility coming my way. And I want to embrace that because Spirit is saying something really funny about Saturn, which is very true, which is like, if you do not take responsibility, Saturn will give you responsibility. So it's kind of like the more you avoid it, the more difficult it will be. So the more that you, Knight of Pentacles, embrace the long, sometimes hard, but not necessarily always, journey, and say, okay, again, I'm just putting in my commitment, judgment, my commitment, my wake up call. Okay, this is what's true. This is what needs to happen. I need to walk the talk, right? And then you walk it. And it might feel a little slow. I'm only concerned because I see sitting in the future, Four of Pentacles, not a negative card at all. On the contrary, it's a card of having more than enough, but a feeling that maybe you don't. A feeling that maybe what you have isn't enough, and like holding on to and hoarding your skills or your idea. Maybe it's like, oh, it's not good enough yet. Or, oh, I'm embarrassed. It's not, I don't have enough yet. I'm going to hang back. I'm going to, it can also be this feeling of looking around at everybody else and using the yardstick of the external world and comparing your life or your bank account or your skills or whatever, your relationship, to somebody else's or to lots of somebody else's, and then coming away feeling like, why does mine look like this? And Spirit is saying something really like poignant. They're showing me like a little child, right? And Aries is the child, right? Or in fact, the baby, like the infant of the zodiac. And the beautiful thing, let's talk about babies and finger painting, right? When you get your little baby and they get their hands in the paint and they just make something beautiful and they are just so joyful and they give it to you and it brings you joy because they created it from their heart. And think about as we get a little older, right? And as children, we become a little bit more self-conscious. And maybe, the same finger painting and like that made them happy a second ago, but then they look over at their neighbor student who like is really talented and has created like a full-blown image with like dimension, and they're putting it next to their little square house with the triangle roof and the sun in the corner and going like, dang, why doesn't mine look like that? I must suck or whatever. Don't do that. Don't do that. Your journey will literally not look like anybody else's. There might be similarities, there might be synchronicities, but if you are using anybody else's yardstick to measure, you're going to feel a little cruddy about yourself. So I would rather that you be like a gardener and just say, I've decided, judgment again, to keep showing up. I've decided that I'm being shown that this part of my life wants more attention, more diligence is the word Spirit is using. So just as an example, what if Aries maybe rules your sixth house, your house of health, organization, routine? You could be feeling a real push, like, I need to take care of my health. I need to take care of my body. I'm feeling, tired, or I'm feeling heavy. I can feel that I need to do this, that, and the other thing to repair, to refine, to polish, to take responsibility. That would be a version of taking responsibility, right? Now, your guidance as a direct, like, totally contrasting with this Four of Pentacles feeling of like, mine's not enough or I don't have enough. Six of Wands says, actually, you have a lot. Wands are skills, they're creativity, they're things that make us feel passionate, things that light us up. So it doesn't have to necessarily be like an artistic type of creativity. It could be that when you do public speaking, you feel really lit up and like you're doing exactly what you're meant to do, and everybody's like, wow, you're really good at that thing. Do your thing. Show up and do your thing. And again, trust the process and don't be questioning it the whole time or running around. Spirit's showing me it would be like the gardener running out and digging up the seeds to see if anything's happening. That's to interrupt the process, right? So let the seeds do their thing. Again, remain committed. Another card that kind of underlines and echoes that, the Lovers, is sitting in the climate and energy around you. The Lovers says, make a really bold choice. And I feel like you could say that I'm looking at that Seven of Swords card and the potential outcome position. I see that as escaping from your responsibilities, sneaking away from something that might feel a little bit like it's really big, like it's really important or bold. And that wouldn't be like you. So I will say, don't shirk your responsibilities. Saturn would definitely also say that. Whichever house that they might rule for you, Aries, Saturn would say, if you need to leave or like you need to stop doing something, or you want to let go or change something, make that very clear and make your like departure known. That's just what I'm hearing. Like, because otherwise I feel like there could be misunderstandings. I feel like there could be some like I'm hearing that like waters could get muddied, reputations could get tarnished. So just as an example of the kind of vibe that they're giving me, it's like if you're thinking about quitting your job, don't just stop showing up. Like, show up, say to somebody's face like, I need to leave and this is when, and goodbye, that kind of thing. Okay. Or like the relationship, like, okay, this is what needs to happen. Like, not ghosting, for example, like taking responsibility and being like, you know what, it's really not working out, and for these reasons I need to pack my stuff and go. Thank you, good luck to you, goodbye. You know what I mean? I think that you will feel better about yourself. I think that it opens up many better and brighter pathways for you than the opposite track. So that is just for those for whom the hair stands up on the back of their neck, where they're like, I have been thinking about sneaking out, kind of backdooring this situation, or I did ghost somebody and I'm feeling really guilty about it. Like, let it be known. And better late than never. Okay, so whew, catch all of this major arcana: the Emperor, Judgment, the Lovers. This is about, you know, the Emperor takes control. The Emperor makes the rules, creates the boundaries, and builds his empire. He builds and then he runs his empire. What is the Lovers? What is the exciting choice that you could make? Saturn in Aries. What could I physically, Saturn, what actions can I take? What can I build, do right here in the material world that could ultimately yield me big returns, big treasures? And big returns and treasures also count as like just satisfaction, fulfillment. Like, yeah, you know what? My bold choice is I'm 3/4 of the way to being a medical doctor, but I've always wanted to be an actor or whatever. And you make this bold, scary choice and you embrace that, like, you want to be an actor and you want to show up in that way in the world, and you take the steps that you need to take. You could be very surprised by the outcome. Spirit is actually, and listen, I know this is a June reading, but Spirit is talking about the Saturn-Neptune conjunction that won't take place till early 2026, okay? Like right around, like maybe a little less than a year from now. Something really dreamy, Neptune, could be made reality if you begin now, if you take control now, if you act like you are building and cultivating an empire now. Knight of Pentacles will become the Emperor ultimately when you take responsibility and act like, okay, I'm going to do the actions that create the life that I will, the Lovers, be boldly, passionately in love with. Okay? Okay. Show off a little bit. Show up and show off. And don't compare yourself to anybody else. Thief of joy and thief of originality, okay? Comparison. No good. How does that sit on you, Aries? I hope that that is helpful. I always love to hear from you. Like if you liked it. Dislike if you didn't. Tell the truth. Subscribe if you vibe. I appreciate you, and I hope I will catch you at our Sunday live. Till then, bye, Aries.